She believed broken things could still be beautiful. In a small, windswept town tucked away by the coast lived a girl named Elara. Her home was a little cottage that smelled of salt and old books, and her greatest treasure wasn't gold or jewels, but a collection of sea glass that shimmered in 100 dusty jars on her windowsill. Each piece was a memory, a story whispered by the ocean. Elara wasn't just a collector. She was a mender of sorts. She saw the beauty in things others discarded. A chipped teacup, a forgotten wooden toy, a bird with a broken wing day. All found a safe haven with her. The townsfolk called her odd, this quiet girl who preferred the company of broken things to people. They didn't understand why she'd spend her days combing the beach for shards of glass, the remnants of shipwrecks and careless hands. But Elara knew a secret they didn't. She knew that the sea doesn't just break things, it transforms them. It takes sharp, dangerous edges and tumbles them, smooths them, and softens them over years and years of patient work. The glass that was once a bottle, thrown away and shattered, becomes a jewel. It becomes something new, something beautiful, precisely because it was broken. Her favorite piece was a deep, cobalt blue, smooth as a river stone. She found it after the worst storm the town had seen in a decade. The waves had been monstrous, clawing at the shore, and when the chaos subsided, the beach was littered with debris. Among the splintered wood and tangled nets, this piece of blue glass glowed like a fallen star. She imagined it was once part of a Captain spyglass, or maybe a bottle of expensive perfume that crossed the ocean. Its journey was a mystery, but its survival was a promise that even after the most violent storms, something beautiful can remain. One day, a boy named Leo moved to town. His family had come seeking the quiet of the coast, but Leo carried a storm inside him. He was quiet, but not in the peaceful way Elara was. His silence was heavy, like an anchor. He walked with his shoulders hunched, his eyes fixed on the ground, as if he were afraid of what he might see if he looked up. He'd lost his father a year ago, and the world had felt broken ever since. The other kids tried to include him in their games, but Leo would just shake his head and walk away. He felt like a shattered bottle, all sharp edges and jagged points. He was afraid he'd hurt anyone who got too close, so he kept to himself, walking the lonely stretches of beach, feeling as gray and empty as the winter sky. It was on one of these walks that he saw Elara. She was kneeling in the sand, her fingers gently sifting through the pebbles. She held something up to the light, a tiny piece of emerald green glass, and a small, genuine smile lit up her face. Leo had forgotten what a smile like that looked like. He watched her from a distance for days, intrigued by this girl who found joy in the ocean's cast. Finally, he gathered the courage to approach her. He didn't say anything at first, just stood there awkwardly. Elara looked up, her eyes as calm as the sea on a windless day. She didn't question him or shoo him away. Instead, she held out her hand. In her palm lay the green shard. "Look," she said softly. "It's like a mermaid's tear." Leo stared at the smooth, frosted piece of glass. It was beautiful. He hadn't thought anything could be beautiful anymore. He found himself telling her that, the words tumbling out before he could stop them. "Everything feels broken," he confessed, his voice barely a whisper. Elara didn't offer empty platitudes or tell him it would be okay. She simply nodded and said, "I know, but broken things can become the most beautiful of all. The ocean taught me that." She invited him back to her cottage and showed him her collection. Jars of green blue, white, and the rare, precious red, all glowing in the afternoon sun. She told him the stories she'd imagined for each piece. The white was from an old milk bottle, the brown from a pirate's rum. Each one had been shattered, lost, and then found again, transformed. Leo began to join her on her daily walks. At first, he just watched. Then, he started to look. He began to see the glint of color among the gray stones. His first find was a simple piece of amber glass, the color of honey. He held it in his hand, feeling its smooth, worn surface. It wasn't sharp. It couldn't hurt anyone. As they walked and searched, they talked. Elara spoke of the sea's patience. Leo, slowly, tentatively, began to speak of his father. He spoke of his laughter, his kindness, and the gaping hole his absence had left behind. With each story he told, a sharp edge inside him seemed to soften, just a little. Elara listened, never judging, never pushing, just being present. Like the steady rhythm of the waves. One afternoon, as they sat on a driftwood log, sorting their finds, Leo held up a piece he'd just discovered. It was a cloudy white, shaped almost like a heart. "It's not perfect," he said, tracing its lopsided shape. "It doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful," Alara replied, her voice gentle. "It just has to be true in that moment." Leo understood. He looked at Alara, at her collection of broken treasures, and then at the vast, endless ocean. He realized that grief wasn't something to be fixed or forgotten. It was a part of him, a piece of his story. Like the sea glass, his own broken pieces were being tumbled and smoothed, not by the ocean, but by time, by friendship, by the quiet acceptance of a girl who understood the language of shattered things. He wasn't whole again, not in the way he was before. But he wasn't just a collection of sharp, dangerous edges anymore either. He was becoming something new, something different, something that had been through the storm and had come out the other side, not unscathed, but stronger and, in a way he was just beginning to understand, more beautiful. He placed his heart-shaped piece of sea glass into an empty jar Alara gave him. It was the first piece in his own collection, the first piece of a new story. He and Alara continued their walks, side by side, two friends who knew that even when things break, their pieces can be gathered, cherished, and transformed into something that catches the light in the most wonderful way. They found beauty not in perfection, but in the resilience of the human heart and the gentle, healing power of the sea. And so, the girl who collected sea glass taught the boy with the broken heart that he, too, was a treasure. Not in spite of his brokenness, but because of it. If you ever find yourself feeling broken, remember Alara and her sea glass. Remember that time and patience can smooth even the sharpest edges. There is immense strength and beauty in healing, and you are never truly alone. If you're struggling, please reach out. There are people who want to help, and resources available to support you. Your story isn't over. It's just being reshaped into something new. Thanks for watching.